At the bottom of the sea, where the sunlight barely reached, there was a magical kingdom hidden beneath the waves. The kingdom was ruled by a wise and kind queen, who had the most beautiful voice in all the land. Her name was Queen Coral, and she was loved by all the sea creatures that lived in her kingdom. Queen Coral lived in a magnificent palace made of coral, shells, and pearls. The palace was surrounded by a beautiful garden filled with colorful fish, sea anemones, and coral trees that bloomed with flowers that smelled like the sweetest perfume. One day, a curious little fish named Finley swam into the kingdom, searching for adventure. Finley was a small fish with bright blue scales and a big smile on his face. He loved to explore and discover new things, and he had heard about the magical kingdom at the bottom of the sea from his friends who had seen it from afar. As Finley swam through the garden, he met a friendly sea turtle named Terry. Terry was a gentle giant, with a shell as big as a car and a heart of gold. He was taking a nap in the sun, and Finley woke him up by swimming too close. "Whoa, little guy, watch where you're swimming," Terry said, opening one eye lazily. "What brings you to our kingdom?" Quote, Finley explained that he was looking for adventure, and Terry offered to show him around. Together, they swam through the palace, where they met Queen Coral herself. She was sitting on her throne, surrounded by her loyal subjects, who were all busy with their daily tasks. "Ah, welcome, little Finley," Queen Coral said, smiling at Finley. "I see you've met Terry. He's one of my most trusted advisors. What do you think of our kingdom so far?" Quote, Finley was amazed by the beauty of the palace and the garden. "It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen," he exclaimed. "I've never seen anything like it." Quote, Queen Coral laughed. "I'm glad you like it. We work hard to keep it beautiful. But I think you might be interested in something even more amazing. Come with me." Queen Coral took Finley and Terry on a tour of the kingdom, showing them hidden caves, secret passageways, and even a magical spring that granted wishes. Finley was amazed by everything he saw, and he couldn't believe his luck. As the day wore on, Queen Coral took Finley to a special room deep in the palace. The room was filled with the most beautiful and exotic sea creatures Finley had ever seen. There were fish with rainbow scales, sea dragons with glittering scales, and even a mermaid who sang the most beautiful songs Finley had ever heard. "This is the Room of Wonders," Queen Coral said, smiling. "Here, you can see the most magical creatures in the kingdom. And I have a special surprise for you, Finley." Queen Coral led Finley to a special corner of the room, where a beautiful seahorse was waiting. The seahorse had a shimmering mane and a kind face, and Finley was immediately drawn to it. "This is my special friend, Luna," Queen Coral said. "She has the power to grant wishes to those who are kind and true of heart. And I think she might grant your wish, Finley, if you can answer a riddle." Finley was excited and a little nervous. He loved riddles, and he was determined to solve this one. Queen Coral told him the riddle. "What can be broken, but never held? What can be given, but never sold?" Quote, Finley thought for a moment, and then he had an idea. "Is the answer a promise?" he asked. Queen Coral and Luna looked at each other, and then they smiled at Finley. "That is correct," Queen Coral exclaimed. "A promise is something that can be broken, but never held. It is something that can be given, but never sold. Well done, Finley." Quote, Luna swam up to Finley and nuzzled him gently. "You have passed the test," she said. "I will grant your wish, Finley." Finley thought for a moment, and then he said, "I wish for the ability to help my friends and family in need. I want to be able to use my skills to make a difference in the world." Luna nodded her head, and a shimmering light enveloped Finley. When the light faded, Finley felt a strange sensation in his fins. He looked down and saw that they were glowing with a soft blue light. I think it's working, Queen Coral said, smiling. You now have the power to help those in need. Use it wisely. Finley was overjoyed. He thanked Queen Coral and Luna. And then he said goodbye to the palace and the kingdom. He swam back to his home, eager to start using his new powers. From that day on, Finley used his powers to help his friends and family. He rescued fish trapped in nets, helped lost sea creatures find their way, and even stopped a group of polluters from harming the ocean. Finley became known as the hero of the sea, and he was loved by all the creatures in the kingdom. And every time he looked at his glowing fins, he remembered the magical kingdom at the bottom of the sea, and the special powers that Queen Coral and Luna had given him. Years went by, and Finley continued to use his powers to help those in need. He became a legend in the sea, and his name was whispered in awe by all the creatures who lived in the kingdom. One day, when Finley was old and wise, he returned to the palace and the kingdom. Queen Coral and Luna welcomed him back with open fins, and they celebrated his many years of heroism. You have been an inspiration to us all, Finley, Queen Coral said, smiling. You have shown us that even the smallest creatures can make a big difference. And I think it's time for me to grant you one more wish. Finley was taken aback. He had never thought about asking for another wish, but he was grateful for the offer. What is the wish, Your Majesty? He asked. I will grant you one final wish, Finley, Queen Coral said. You may wish for anything you like, but remember that it must be something that will benefit the kingdom and all its creatures. Finley thought for a moment, and then he said, I wish for the kingdom to be protected from harm forever. I want the sea creatures to always be safe and happy, and I want the kingdom to remain a place of wonder and magic. Queen Coral smiled, and Luna nodded her head. Your wish is granted, Finley, Queen Coral said. The kingdom will be protected forever, and it will always be a place of wonder and magic. You have been a true hero, Finley, and you will always be remembered as one of the bravest and most selfless creatures in the kingdom. And with that, Finley's journey came to an end. He had used his powers to help those in need, and he had protected the kingdom from harm. He had lived a life of adventure and magic, and he had been loved and respected by all the creatures in the kingdom. As Finley swam away from the palace, he looked back and saw Queen Coral and Luna watching him. He knew that he would always be remembered as a hero, and he was grateful for the magical kingdom at the bottom of the sea, and all the wonders it had brought into his life. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.